How do you guys feel about masturbating before you go on a date?
What?
If you hold that top bit and squeeze it with your hand, how does it feel?
Oh, fucking hell.
No, Lauren, what's going on?
ASMR.
What in the elephant trunk is this?
If you are using inappropriate things to masturbate with, you can actually damage your body.
Yeah.
The old toothbrush, hairbrush,
yeah.
it was all sorts.
Toothbrush.
Electric, Christy.
Not scrubbing your nubbin with Colgate.
Hi guys, welcome back to Tea at 4. I'm Christy.
And I'm Lauren, and this is the podcast where we talk all things that should have stayed in the group chat, or maybe not. Because for our New Year's Revolution campaign, Girl Literacy, we're exploring a very important topic this week. We're talking self-pleasure.
Ooh.
And we were joined by the amazing sex expert, Alix Fox. Christy, thoughts?
That was honestly the best conversation I've ever had about sex. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, touching on the myth of the G-spot, which, you know, with guys and girls, that's always a big topic of conversation. The masturbating before going on a date. So masturbating pre-date shenanigan. I was bamboozled. And also feeling sex toys.
We didn't try them on camera, just for preface. Yeah, I was obsessed with the biological reason for post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
Obsessed with that kind of thing. And you know what, just discussing what got us off for the first time.
Yeah.
Always interesting.
We really enjoyed that conversation and you guys are going to learn so much from it. So here it is.
So
So
we're buzzing. This week we're joined by Alix Fox. Alix, would you mind giving us some context to who you are, what you do, what's your purpose here today? Sorry.
No big questions. What is your existence on this earth worth?
Yeah.
As you say, my name is Alix Fox. It conveniently rhymes with Phallic Cox because I've spent the last 2 decades talking about the ins and outs and ups and downs and sides to sides of sexual culture. Some of the work that I'm most known for, I suppose, is that I was a script consultant on all of the seasons of Sex Education on Netflix.
amazing.
I'm writing a book at the moment with a working title, The Missing Kink, which is a very warm, welcoming, hopefully entertaining introduction and delving into fetishes.
Nice.
And I'm trying to make a documentary about the sex lives of older people, because I think our elders have a lot to teach us when it comes to getting down and dirty and being open-minded about it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, us as young people are clueless. So any help from anyone
Just
is
go with the
appreciated.
flow, aren't we, Lauren?
Yeah,
Like,
go with the
literally
flow.
just seeing what's out there. But I'm so excited to have you here and I'm interested about the conversation we're going to have today.
I can't wait to see where we take things.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
No,
we're
I'm
fine.
buzzing.
Buzzing.
Buzzing is a very appropriate term to use. I've brought an entire suitcase of things that buzz, that throb, that vibrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of which
I
expand.
can feel the fear in the room.
Do you know what it is? I think I'm more like excited because I just like the world is like bizarre, it's big, it's amazing, but there's so many great creations out there. And I mean, if you don't do the research and if you don't go into the shops, like for instance, like the Ann Summers or the what other sex shops are there?
Don't
Love
know.
Honey online. is
Love
a really
Honey,
good place to
yeah.
go.
If you don't
you can
go
do that
there-
from the privacy of your own home.
Absolutely. I think this is the thing I think we were bringing up when the conversation around self-pleasure is it's not necessarily for girls a group chat topic.
Yeah.
And I think unless you're having these like instances where we can bring up the conversation, it's a bit like as women, don't really want to talk about that. Whereas the conversation for men, it sees wank. That's wank bank. I knew about the word wank bank before I probably knew the word masturbation. Like that's saying something, right?
Yeah.
I only wish my HSBC account had as much in it as my wank bank.
Oh, so,
I think you're right. I mean, historically, the patriarchy has always labelled men as one, more sexual, and B, more deserving of sexual pleasure. So the fact that they can talk about pleasuring themselves ostensibly quite openly goes along with that, right?
Right.
Although I'd argue that the conversations that men do have with their friends about wanking, about masturbation, aren't always constructive, are they? No. It tends to be a lot about bragging rights, and there's a lot of pressure to come across as macho and quite mainstream as well.
Yeah.
If you have a fetish or a kink, that can still be quite difficult to talk about.
Yeah.
If you are not somebody with a high libido or maybe even asexual, and you, not that all asexual people don't masturbate, but some don't. If you're a guy who doesn't masturbate a lot, then that can be shameful, right? On the flip side, as you say, I think women don't talk about masturbation as much. Although I would say for women, it's a lot easier to talk about toys. if we've hopped on a great rampant rabbit, then we might be more likely to tell our
Yeah.
friends about it. In fact, there was some research done by Lilo, who are a luxury sex toy company, that said that a really high percentage, I think it was about half of women, received their first sex toy as a gift from a pal.
Right.
Whereas for men, to be open about using
imagine?
penis stimulators or fleshlights or anything like
Yeah.
that conversation doesn't happen.
Like, there's no Anne Summer parties that exist
course
for
not.
men.
Man
I didn't hear
Summers.
about our dads going around to their friend's
I
house
wouldn't
to
wanna-
play with a little anal beads. I didn't hear
Yeah.
it.
Not the fact that you didn't hear it does not mean it wasn't happening.
yeah,
That's
valid.
a good one.
Yeah.
I do feel like it does stem, like the comfortability of talking about sex and stuff does stem from school. Because with sex education in school, I used to avoid that class. Like I used to hate it because it's always about the guys with wet dreams, always like targeted to like the males. But then with the females, like, okay, you get your period, this happens, and whatever. There's not that kind of that touch in. There's not that touch in like female feelings, how to feel. Whereas the guys like, you're gonna feel a bit wet. This is gonna happen to you. Blah blah blah. So I always used to hate that side of education, and it's weird because that growing up and now as well, there's also still not enough out there to educate women on like sexual desires, sexual pleasures. Obviously, toys there is
Gratification.
Out there.
It's,
Yeah,
I guess,
that's what it
the
is.
focus is on like the reproductive side of sex or like,
That's it.
ejaculation and things like that. But I don't think there was ever a point where it was like, this is how you can satisfy yourself. And
Yeah.
maybe is that why we're so disconnected from that side of self-pleasure? Because from such a young age, it's all delegated into this box of like, oh, when you're having sex, it's a partnered thing. Someone else
Yeah.
is pleasuring you, not what you should get in tune of liking yourself.
There is a push for sex education in school to include discussions of masturbation and solo sex or
Okay.
self-pleasure. At the moment, you're right. Unfortunately, you're bang on the money, honey. That chat is just not happening in schools. It's a lot about fear and warning, isn't it? And a lot about talking about partnered sex.
Sure.
It's all about how not to catch an STI and how not to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm not shading teachers here because I think they're often not given enough time to talk about the in-depth and sometimes quite nuanced side of sex. They're not always given the right resources and the right training. I mean, for me, it was my maths teacher.
Yeah.
One day
Really?
maths, next day spaffs. They expected to talk about that, you know.
my
Putting a
days.
condom on a fucking cucumber, and I was
I
like,
can't eat bananas. It's put me off banoffee pie
Yeah.
for life. I just associate them with rubber johnnies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think partly because they're trying to squeeze that sex education often into a very, very small period of time. We only get the warnings about what can go wrong, which tend to focus on partnered sex. I would argue that it's important not just to talk about masturbation because of all the good stuff it can bring, which we can get onto in a second, but also there are things that can go wrong. Blokes or people with penises can suffer from what's called death grip syndrome. Have you heard about this?
never.
Death grip.
What is that?
It's a term coined by a fantastic sexologist and podcaster called Dan Savage. It's where basically you hold your wanger so tight when you're pumping yourself on your own that the comparatively soft, delicate feelings of penetration with a partner aren't enough to get you off. The stimulation isn't strong enough. And it can lead to things like erectile dysfunction and anxiety and cause real problems for guys. But we are not talking about that in schools, even though your teenage years are really when a lot of people start to experiment with masturbation.
Is there an equivalent for women, that scenario?
Good question.
Death what? Death grip.
Death grip.
Death
stroke?
slit.
Death-
Death stroke.
I feel like we need to workshop this one, don't we? I do think if you use very, very strong, high-powered sex toys for long periods of time, you can sort of get used to a high level of stimulation. It's not a permanent change. It will not do anything to damage your nerves or your body, but you can get acclimatized to things. I liken it a little bit to going to the gym. You start off with your light weights, you build up to your heavy weights, and after a while, when you've been like really pumping iron for a long time, Picking up the little dumbbell that you started off with feels like nothing.
Right.
I'm going to be open here, girls. At this point in time, I'm 41 years old. I get sent a lot of sex toys. My clitoris is like Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. So I could probably do with like toning it down a little bit, taking a pause on opening my pleasure treasure chest and going to those toys. But yeah, again, we don't talk about that in schools. I think another issue is that parents get really frightened sometimes about talking
100%.
about sex.
Yeah.
They don't know how to broach the conversation.
I haven't had the sex talk with my parents.
No.
Never.
I think the worst, back in school we have like little diaries, and one of my friends also wrote something about sex in my diary, right? And I remember I remember my mum.
That's some pot stirring from your friend.
My mum was like, "What do you mean sex? Are you having sex? Do you know what sex is?" I was like, "Oh my God, you know what? This is a forbidden place. I'm never ever doing that again in my life." And since then, it's just not a conversation we've had. Like, but it's weird because when my brother was born and he's like in his teenage years, I think he had like a condom in his wallet. And my mum saw it and she was like, "Yeah, so condoms, yeah? Who gave you that? You're being safe." And I was just like, I was thinking, wait, hold on. When it was me back in school, you were grilling me. I got grilled to the point where I was like, you know what? Every show on TV or ad that had any sex references, switch. Switch it. That's how paranoid I was. Yeah.
Because that could have been a great opening for a constructive conversation.
Literally.
But I think, as you have observed, often what parents and caregivers bring to that scenario, it can be very gendered. Sometimes it's influenced by religion. They may have had their own negative experiences that they want to shield their daughters from.
I think it's that fear as well.
Yeah, it doesn't always come from a bad place. Sometimes it absolutely does, unfortunately. In schools too, I think there's a big fear of talking about the fact that solo sex and partnered sex can be pleasurable. The way I see it is young people are going to be intrigued about sex anyway. Let's be honest about it. Let's give them the tools and skills that they need to navigate their own personal journey healthily and happily and sensibly. If you do not talk about something, you make it mysterious. And then people are like, or scary. That is when we delve.
It's a bit curious, you know what I mean? I just want to like just dip my hand. Do you know what I mean? That's what happens.
Exactly. Then we head into that cavern of curiosity and we're totally in the dark. And that's when bad things do happen. Christy, if you weren't getting the A to Z of all things slippery and slidey from your parents, where were you learning, if you were at all? So
back in the day, you know, Bebo, you know, the blogs.
Bebo! What are you learning on Bebo?
No, but you know the little stories people used to come out with, like the little like skettish, naughty kind of stories.
And people's notes.
In people's notes.
Oh my God, that's like early erotica fiction.
Basically, it's either that or if it's not that, then it's like music videos where there's like sexual scenes, EastEnders. Because I love a good soap.
Hollyoaks.
Hollyoaks had a lot of that actually.
For a while they did that Hollyoaks After Dark thing.
My God.
E4.
That's when you learned about bum sex.
So it would be that, like, all through conversations, through like films, TV, music, obviously lyrics is what you're thinking, what he did what? You know, I'm
my God, do you ever look back on the lyrics of songs that you were like, this speaks to my soul and my heart, and then you realise that you had no idea what you were going down on somebody in a theatre.
Oh my God.
I was belting out the Alanis with no clue.
I know, I'm thinking of in Grease Lightning, you know, Danny's like, the chicks will cream. I was singing that to my nan in the chicks will cream, dun, dun, when I was, she probably didn't know what I was saying, to be fair. But I'm same as you. Mine was like predominantly in film, I think. And funny you say about music videos, it just reminded me, my boyfriend told me about how he used to pause Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake, and it was just this shot of a girl's ass crack, and apparently that used to really excite him.
What?
So it didn't take
going
much.
To revisit that
It's not much. He did show me, like, is that it? And apparently that's what gets it all going. But never anything like an explicit conversation. It was seeing it in pop culture, like in Greece, them in the back of the car rubbing up against each other. I was like, that must be how it goes. Titanic. Yeah.
What about masturbation? You know, often it's partnered sex or relationships that are represented in film and music videos, right?
It's true. I think
it's not see TLC having a little bit of TLC on themselves.
So I creep. I'm just creeping on down.
Okay, we're rewriting that. Brilliant.
I love. No, I'd say I found it really interesting because, especially in school, there would be rumours that would go around about like girls masturbating, and people would be judged and ripped apart for it. Like, especially like girls using something like a shower head, and then that would be like a rumour that stuck with them for years. But the difference is, if a man was talking about, you know, just having a wank or doing this into a sock, it was just like a funny thing. But for a girl, hearing that she had a shower head, and I also didn't really understand the like scope of it, I'd be like, God, that is a bit weird. But now when you're an adult, it's like, that's probably just a normal way of exploring yourself at that age.
It's extremely common.
Yeah.
There's actually recently been the launch of the very first shower head from a brand called Womanizer.
Wow.
That's specifically designed for female self-pleasure, primarily because for so many girls and women, that was their first experience of feeling that thrilling tingle or having an orgasm. That's another good reason, really, to talk about masturbation and sex education, isn't it? Because if you are using inappropriate things to masturbate with, you can actually damage your body.
Yeah.
The old toothbrush, hairbrush, it was all sorts.
Toothbrush.
Electric, Christy.
Not scrubbing your nubbin with Colgate.
Can you imagine?
There will probably be somebody out there, you know,
that's tried.
making it clean. At least it's plaque free, I suppose.
Lovely.
But yeah, I have friends who work in A&E, and the number of people who are admitted because they have put something inside them that's broken. Bottles that have caused a vacuum because they don't have a top on. That's really common.
One man, one jar. Did you watch that back in the day?
Unfortunately, I did. I think I'm still mentally scarred. He's still rectally scarred, I believe.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Thank
Do
you
not look that up.
I won't
save
it.
No. Honest to God. Oh, it's hideous.
That just really pulled something from the repressed depths of my mind. That story. So thank
Keep it
you.
there. Keep it there in the dark. I'm not
crazy.
here to kink shame, but that is absolutely not
hazard.
a safe representation of how to lead into your fetishes. Yeah, I've heard reports on people who've put salt and pepper shakers up their bums, lots of things disappearing up people's back doors. And maybe if we were taught more about this, then there would be fewer accidents that were the result of people trying to experiment with themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. We had an episode a couple of weeks ago around a belly button fetish. Is like,
did you ever think you'd say that line?
Oh, I know, classic. I think my question is, just in terms of women, I feel like because that self-pleasure thing is so taboo, how do you get in touch with like your fantasies, your niches, your things you like? Because at the moment, I think for a lot of years, a lot of us just go acoustic. We go manual down there. How do you know?
Nothing wrong with that.
Acoustic.
But I think what I would like to do more is get away from the idea of porn, like to inspire you. I know obviously I spoke about pop culture, but I think a big thing for a lot of people is that they look to performative sex to know what they should be liking themselves. How would you recommend someone gets inside themselves?
I guess a lot of yoga. Yeah. You're gonna have to be more flexible than a yoga master in order to climb inside your own crevices.
Yeah.
There's quite a few layers to that question. So shall we break it down?
Yeah, absolutely.
The first, I guess, is your reasons for masturbating at all. I think there is a real push to intellectualize and romanticize women's masturbation.
Oh, yeah.
It always has to be like, well, I do it for my wellness, or I do it because it's part of a ritual.
Yes.
It is absolutely fucking fine to do some fingery self-fuckery because it's hot and because it's fun. You know, that is legitimate, the same way that it is for men. Having said that, for a lot of people, masturbation is also about self-care. There was a survey carried out by a Japanese sex toy company called Tenga. They asked 10,000 people worldwide across 9 different countries about their masturbation habits. So it was a pretty big survey.
Yeah.
And they found that for British people, they rated masturbation just below having a kip, having a sleep, and above things like listening to chill out music or taking a warm bubble bath.
Wow.
That sounded weird. or taking, as opposed to a cold bubble bath. It was really strangely hard. Or taking a warm bubble bath in terms of chilling them out and de-stressing them. So there's a lot of people who are touching themselves because their day has death gripped them. You know? It's a great way of learning about your body and the things that feel good to you, and maybe the fantasies that you want to indulge.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also a really good way of knowing what your normal is. If you're regularly touching, exploring, looking at your bits and bobs, you are more likely to know if something unusual or wrong is happening. I work with a gynecological cancer charity called the Eve Appeal, and one of the major issues we have is that women don't notice things like rashes or thickening in the skin or lumps and things like that because they're not touching themselves, or they've been taught that that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
And they don't know when something has maybe, you know, gone a little bit off piste and they need to go and see a GP and get it checked out. I always think masturbation also can be a form of self-celebration. I know that when I'm demonstrating to myself that my body has the ability to make me feel really good, I find it easier to feel good about my body.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of contributes to my self-esteem and my self-confidence and my positive body image.
Yeah.
And of course, if I know how to get myself off, if and when I want to, it's easier for me to tell a partner that.
Yeah.
So we can merrily get off together.
That makes sense.
Also, as you get older, if you're a person with a vagina and you enter the menopause, what's horribly called vaginal atrophy can happen. I feel like we need to rebrand that as vaginal atrophy. It's your prize for making it this far. Unfortunately, it's a shit prize. It's when blood flow decreases to the vaginal area, hormonal changes mean that you produce less natural moisture, and the whole thing could become less plump, more dry, more uncomfortable. Masturbation can help pump that blood back into the places it's needed.
Oh my God.
Naturally stimulate a bit more of that moisture. Using yourself helps you not lose yourself as you get older. So there's so many reasons to masturbate. You asked about how to lean into what you like without relying on porn. What are your views on porn, Lauren?
So I worry that with our generation, we see such a performative and perfected version of sex. And I think in terms of intimacy, I've from a personal level, I've struggled with things like libido from the pill, from depression, from anxiety. And I feel like that kind of factor of having this amazing visual takes away from that moment where I'm in tune with myself and what I like and my imagination and things like that. It's more just like, oh no, what's someone else doing? And we're getting more and more disconnected from the idea of self and that self-celebration and self-exploration. That's my view, I think.
It sounds like for you at the moment, porn, or at least the porn you're consuming, isn't an enjoyable experience.
I wouldn't say so. I'm off it. I'm not. I don't tend to watch. I feel like I'm trying to gauge more into reality. Say that.
If it's not getting you off, then switch it off. There is no obligation, an obligation, if you will, to consume porn as part of your private or partnered sexual practice. I don't think it's necessarily always a bad thing if you are a porn fan. I think there's a lot of shame and negativity attached to porn, and on one hand, rightly so. We know that a lot of porn is problematic. What it shows is problematic in terms of degrading experiences for women, centering very much male pleasure. A lot of it is geared towards a cis mainstream male gaze, or at least what porn companies think that most cis men want, or gearing them towards that. With regard to you not loving porn, have you guys, is the idea of ethical porn on your radar, that concept?
What's that?
There are a number of companies trying to make porn in ways that better serves viewers and better serves everyone involved in the production. So it's things like actors getting cared for while they're on set. Lots of very proactive conversations about consent, actors being able to choose who they work with and making sure that everything that they're going to do is agreed beforehand and there's no deviation from that or pressure when the cameras are on for them to actually go a bit further or do something a bit more extreme. Their health is looked after in terms of STI tests and COVID tests and general well-being. And also a lot of this porn tries to better serve consumers by showing lots of different body types or different types of queer sex. It's quite diverse. It caters more to the female gaze. It tells unusual stories. Yeah. So rather than the wham bam thank you ma'am stuff that you might see on Pornhub, it's a lot more imaginative and
oh, I love a fan fiction.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah. There's one woman actually called Erica Lust, who has been a pioneer in this field of pornography for quite some time, and one of her sites is called X Confessions.
Right.
And the idea is that every porn film she makes is a story sparked off by a viewer's anonymous confession.
Oh,
either
wow.
something they've done or something they want to do. So it all spirals out of fantasy.
Right.
So you might enjoy that, but to be honest, it sounds like you're not in the moan zone when it comes to porn, are you? It's not making you ooh, it's making you ew.
It's not a complete ew. It's just I think in the era of my life as it is now, I think I just need to put the focus on me, put the spotlight on me. What I like, what's the vibe. So I feel like I just don't want to carry on that trope of looking to others, because what they might satisfy them is so different to what might satisfy me, and I think that's what I want to get in touch with.
I think that sounds like a brilliant outlook. Thanks. To pay attention to how you're feeling when you're doing something. You know, is this actually making me feel great?
Yeah.
Is what I'm viewing here making me feel bad about my body, or
That's
pressured into liking something that actually isn't tickling my pickle and floating my boat? Yeah. So well recognized.
Thank you.
Other things that you might want to explore if you're looking to maybe open your mind to fantasies are, have you tried reading any literotica?
Well, fan fiction back in the day, yes. Harry Styles, sorry for putting you through that. All that I liked a bit of reading back on Reds in the Face back in the day. Just that, but nothing as of late.
Because that actually allows you to create the pictures in your own mind rather than seeing them on a screen, doesn't it? There are some companies, I think one is called Realised Fantasy, where if you tell them what you're interested in, they will custom write you a story. Or they have some templates where you can fill in like names of particular people that you fancy, or
me and Nas.
Wow.
Yeah. What was that?
Me and Nas.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, they can write you some beautiful bars about Nas.
Oh.
Yeah. Another simple practice that is more about recognizing the delicious elements of the everyday and kind of opening your eyes, as well as other areas, to the possibilities of pleasure, is called sensate focus.
Right.
This invites you to tune in to something gorgeous that you can see, something lovely that you can smell, a feeling, or a tactile sensation,
right?
Maybe a beautiful taste, and not to do this just when you're self-pleasuring, but try and notice it actively through the day. Like, does it feel gorgeous when you step into your warm shower first thing in the morning and the drops are pitter-pattering over your skin? Pay attention to the scent of your body. Right. Yeah, exactly. It's about, rather than just relying on one single form of external visual stimulation like porn, tuning into the whole capacity of the world to turn you on. I mean, maybe be careful with it on the bus. It can get out of hand very quickly.
254. Stay away, everyone. Woo. What's your opinion on post-nut clarity? Do you think that's something that, even as a woman, it's a bit of a dirty thing about masturbation and self-pleasure? Like, I feel like that idea that once you're done, it's like, oh, what did I just do? Is there any way we can kind of rewrite our mind to just maybe be a bit kinder to ourselves in those moments?
Great question. I've actually heard post-nut clarity to mean two things. Right. Some people mean that it's sort of like the release of having an orgasm or pleasuring themselves, kind of like it stops them procrastinating about things, and suddenly they're like able to see more clearly, and they're like, right, banged one out, I'm ready to get down to it, I've finished with my procrastination, I now have a clear view of life, It's about that sort of positive, almost business-like energy that doing the business to yourself can supposedly bring for some people. Me personally, I don't find that. I want to go and have a little nap. It doesn't. I don't find that having a wank suddenly means that I'm not drawing a blankety blank on things that I was worried about. The other definition of post-nut clarity that I've heard is this idea that suddenly you become clear on the things you've just been fantasizing about, or
Right.
you look at the porn that's just turned you on, and it seems
like,
really gross. And you kind of,
what is that?
Yeah,
what was that?
exactly.
Yeah,
You're wigged out by what you just enjoyed.
yeah.
There's a really strong biological reason for that.
Oh, really?
Our bodies are programmed to repress disgust when we are turned on.
Oh.
And that's because if you think about it, a lot of the elements of sex are kind of grim, aren't they? You know, it's if you're talking heterosexual penetrative sex, it is somebody putting their frequently fluffy, lint covered, unwashed knob.
Urine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where the pee has just come out of that, and they're putting it in your poo.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lots of kissing and exchange of saliva. You're right in their sweat. If you're into eating ass, then you are putting your mouth where the sun do not shine.
Yeah.
But Uranus is is really bringing it. So there's lots of elements of sex that are actually kind of squicky and icky.
Right.
But we need to have sex in order to continue the human race. So our bodies push that down. They turn up the turn on and turn down the turn off in order to allow us to have sex, in order to propel us and our libido to feel like we want to do that disgusting thing. Afterwards, that effect wears off. And that's where the post-nut clarity of, 5 minutes ago that felt like lust, now it feels like disgust kicks in. That can actually make a lot of people feel very weird and worried about themselves, and they get anxious that the things they like are deeply strange. In most cases, you've got nothing to worry about. It's very, very standard to be turned on to something. It's turned on by something that a couple of moments later feels abhorrent.
Done. It's fine. Yeah.
That is not to say, of course, that if you have genuine concerns that you've maybe been coerced into something, or that you're pushing yourself to do something that you really don't want, that's a different kettle of fish, and you should absolutely take that seriously. But yeah, if you're genuinely into something, but then maybe just feeling a little bit iffy about it afterwards, you probably got nothing to sweat about.
Love that.
So there's a biological reason for the ick.
Yes, there was
Right.
Yeah.
So what? I get excited about a boy, and then he starts having like spaghetti around his mouth, and then I'm like, what? That's a bit different. I think
that's ever so slightly different.
Yeah.
The idea that you might like fancy somebody and then they do something that
Run after a ping pong
small,
ball,
but it just really turns you off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's linked to the sex disgust response, repression.
Right.
If anything, that's maybe just
an issue for me.
Yeah, it's just a little flag. When's the last time you really got the ick, Chrissy?
Maybe even 3-4 days ago.
Fresh.
Yeah, very fresh.
What was it?
I think it was. I hate sausage fingers, and I feel like I have sausage fingers, right? So,
Not at all.
No.
Do you not think?
I've never eaten such a perfectly manicured chipolata. No,
Yeah,
you don't.
I've got a
No.
thing with like fingers and hands, and I think the way I was held, I was like, just take your hand off me.
Oh God.
Like, don't do that again.
Was it like 5 Greg's sausage rolls without
It just felt like, do you know, not Frank? Is it Frankfurters?
Frankfurters,
Frankfurters. But imagine if they're stuck together now.
Oh.
I was just like, oh no.
Was that it?
And it
Was that one and done then?
Yeah,
we won't be seeing each other again. Thank you.
It was sweaty hands as well. I was like, no. I was like, oh, my skin. Oh, don't get off me. Yeah.
You were like, Frankfurterly, my dear. I
Yeah.
do. Get piss off. I'm done.
Like,
yeah.
That was not for me.
Jokes.
No.
Just quickly, how do you guys feel about the pre-date bait? I.e. masturbating before you go on a date.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that actually gives you a post-nut clarity in the best way, because you're maybe a bit more level-headed. You're not so enamoured and up in that like woo zone.
I'm too nervous for that. I don't think I will be able to do it. I'm more like, let's get this date over and done with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, just hurry up, let it come, and then
Look,
maybe
slap me around the face with your sausage fingers and let's get this thing finished. I've got places to go.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm just way too nervous before.
Really?
The date, so I don't think I'll be able to put myself in that kind of mindset, like, let's just relax ourselves and then go. I don't feel I could do it. I'll probably go to bed afterwards.
The sex toy company Bird, who make really beautiful, quite sculptural toys. Some of them have a dual feature where they work as like little night lights as well. They're very pretty. They teamed up with a dating app called Pure and found that of the people they surveyed, 71% said that they would have a quick wank before they headed out on a date.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Some of them said it like boosted their self-confidence,
Sure.
like, made them feel more sexy and sultry, and they were walking out with a spring in their step and some ride in their stride. I have a feeling that there were probably some men in the mix who weren't admitting that they were actually hoping to get laid later in the evening, and so they were like
Last longer.
quickly just whipping one out earlier so they could last longer later. Yeah.
Classic
I think
fucking
it-
patriarchy, honestly.
I
I'm
think
joking.
it might be that they want to be more impressive lovers.
Oh yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
it's very intentional. It's nice. I see
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, I think presuming that you're going to get your ends away. I guess it depends on how vigorous a wanker you are, because some of my personal exploits, I'm sweating by the end of it. and, you know,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I've really got myself involved. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'd want to rock up on a date looking obviously
Kind of like flustered.
Post-wank.
frazzled.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, hi. Sorry, I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting there like, oh, hi, yeah. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'll be back 1 second. Yeah, I couldn't do it, no.
Joke.
I would like us to tap into the anatomy of the vagina, seeing as me and Lauren do have a lot of questions to ask, and I
Don't
feel
have
like,
a clue what's going on down
yeah,
there.
we don't know what's going on.
Look.
So could you just give us a little insight of the actual female
Absolutely.
anatomy?
Thank
Let me
you.
give you the lowdown on your down low parts.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
First of all, can I ask, what do you guys mean when you say vagina?
A floof.
The vagina. I was like,
The
kitty
Mercedes
cat.
Benz Nani.
Ben's
Ben
Punani.
Flanagan. Ben
Ben
Flanagan. Ben Affleck's
Is that a Scottish dad? What the heck is that?
an ancestor.
Yeah.
The place.
The V.
Everything down there.
This
right?
yeah, this is the issue. It's
Would-
it's
yeah.
not
Would you get your vagina waxed, for example?
No, you get
Yeah.
your no, maybe you-
pubic.
hairs
Pubes?
wax.
I think you're on the right track, ladies, but you do need a bit of clarification.
Thank you.
Okay. Officially, and I recognise that a lot of people, loads of folks use the term vagina to mean the whole shebang,
Yes.
the whole lady wang. Officially, the vagina is actually just the muscular elastic tube that leads from the outside of the body all the way up to your cervix. So the vagina is the bit where you would put a tampon or a menstrual
Okay,
disc.
right.
It's where your periods come out. And if you were having penetrative sex, it's where a penis would go in. That is your vagina. The official name for everything else, or like everything on the outside, is actually the vulva.
Vulva.
So a lot of people, when they say my vagina, they mean my vulva.
Oh my
and
God.
to help me remember this, vagina, it's actually got the word in there. It's the inside bit, it's your inside
It was in
tube.
before
Yeah.
our eyes.
And the vulva.
Right.
Breathing out is everything on the outside. Now, I've brought along a little friend.
Love.
That's
This is my plush Val Var. That's her name. Who is she's an educational plush toy. So I can show you all the bits and bobs that you
Amazing.
have.
Cool.
Christy, would you like to give Val a little snuggle of
Let's
the cuddle?
go. Hey
Yeah.
Val. Is this little thing here the clitoris?
I can understand why you would think that. But actually, if you lift up Val's little hat, which is supposed to represent the clitoral hood, you'll see underneath there is your clitoral glands.
This.
Yes.
This is how big it
Now,
is.
Val is ever so, I'd say she's slightly out of proportion.
Okay.
So Val is designed to be an unintimidating, cuddly vulval model.
Sure.
I use her when I'm talking to younger people who might not understand a medical diagram. I use her when I'm speaking with people who've maybe been through medical trauma or sexual trauma and associate things like anatomical diagrams with hospitals and bad experiences.
Yeah.
And also, I just think she's a great conversation starter, isn't she? A
Absolutely.
squidgy, squishy vulva
really-
is a lot.
really
Yeah.
soft.
She doubles as a brilliant pillow as well when I'm travelling long distance. So she's got a lot going for her. But I will say maybe her proportions aren't spot on. The other thing about her, which I'm trying to rectify, is she's extremely symmetrical. You'll see that Val's lips here are
little bit
both
too perfect.
Yeah, they're quite
Nice and
straight
plump.
and tucked away. It's very, very normal to have frills and spills coming out. You might have one lip longer than the other. For some people, their labia minora, which are those inside lips, hang down lower outside the labia majora, which are the outside bits. The other thing about Val,
Labia minora.
Huh?
They've got very Italian type names. Labia minora, labia majora.
and what would Madame like to eat today from our lunch menu?
Maybe the
Labia
not.
minora with
The
a
labia-
side.
Do you have a hold, Lauren?
Oh,
Yeah, it's very soft.
She's like,
Let's have
I'll
a
just
see.
take the carbonara.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah,
you're
please.
fine. So the little rosebud that you identified there, which I can totally understand why you thought that was the clitoris. That's actually the urethra or your pee hole. It's where your pee comes out. Yeah. The other thing about Val is that she doesn't show the entire internal structure of the clitoris. She only shows that nubbin, that button that most of us are familiar with. That's called the clitoral glands,
Right.
Yeah.
and the hood that usually covers it in most people, although not all. The clitoris is actually a lot bigger than that. That it goes way down deeper into the body, and it has all these these hidden extra parts. So I have another a little model here, which I'm afraid is a bit chafed and bashed, much like my own. It's seen places, it's seen things.
Yeah.
It looks like it's had a run-in with a cheese grater. Thankfully, that's one experience I've not had. The part that you can see on the outside of the body that that generally people call the clitoris is actually just the tip of a much bigger iceberg. And the whole clitoral body has these two legs that extend down behind the labia called crura, and two bulbs as well, which again are hidden inside the body. And when you're turned on, this spongy tissue that makes up these crura and bulbs expands and gets hard. It gets firmer, much like a male erection. Right. There's a lot of it's homologous really to male genitalia. So yeah, the clitoris is a lot bigger, a lot
she's
deeper.
amazing.
Yeah.
So much more than we see on the surface.
Yeah.
Wow. And any part of like anything other than the clitoris that is for self pleasure, like
The whole lot.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything.
No,
Tell me.
you know everything that you've been taught.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
I know.
But actually, although the clitoris is the only organ that is solely designed just for a good time, it's just
Right.
there for pleasure.
Yeah.
That whole area of your body is really sensitive and has beautiful potential to feel great.
Right.
A lot of women are taught that masturbation means just rubbing your nubbin as fast as you can, and that you should go straight for that, like you're playing darts and it's the bullseye. The truth is that you can experiment with lightly pulling or stroking your labia. Yeah, some people are into a little bit of pressure or,
I'd be
or
scared to
tugging.
like pull it all.
It's not going to come off, Christy. Not like a Mrs. Potato Head.
Well,
Please don't treat your foof like a sponge. I think you have enough self-control to not rip your own labia.
yeah. Oh, can you imagine?
Mid-wank.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
no.
But yes,
Yeah.
some people do like a little bit of a tug or a stroke. Some people find that putting a bit of pressure on the top of the pubic mound, so
Right.
just above their clitoris where your pubes grow, particularly if they're also penetrating themselves, can feel really good. And part of that is because of something I believe that you want to chat about further that is commonly called the G-spot.
Who is she?
G. She's
Well,
a G.
She is kind of a master of disguise and illusion because for a long time, like since the 80s, when Beverly Whipple first named the G-spot after Ernst Grafenberg, who was a researcher who looked
Is
at...
that a man?
Yes, so Ernst...
Would be, wouldn't it? Fucking
Well,
hell.
this is misunderstood.
Okay.
Damn.
Ernst did all sorts of research into that, but into vaginas and vulvas in the 50s.
Right.
But it was actually Beverly Whipple who re-examined his research and then named the G-spot after him in the 80s. And since then, it has caused all manner of issues because people have been looking for this elusive area called the G-spot.
Right.
It sounds like a very definite thing, right? In truth, the G-spot doesn't exist.
I knew it.
At least
I knew it because I always thought like, oh, you guys are just gassing, you're capping, you're talking shit. G this, G that, G no, there's no G.
Yeah.
The G's not a G. So I knew
well,
it.
there is a little bit more to the story than
Okay.
just a G. Isn't a G. Yeah. So it doesn't exist as what's called a discrete anatomical structure.
Yeah.
It's not a one
Spot.
thing that you can find. If you go and dissect cadavers, which, you know, it's not really very sexy, but yeah, if
Christy,
you
when she's pulling off her clit, pulling off her vulva.
we're back to potato head again, aren't we? Yeah. If you do look at bodies in that way and dissect them surgically, you will not find the G-spot. There's not a thing that you can pull out of the body and go, there it is.
Note
I
it
found
down, guys.
Yeah.
Note it down.
Having said that, there is an area on the front wall of the vagina, about an inch or so up, that becomes more plump when women are aroused, or can do. It tends to feel a little bit texturized, kind of bumpy. Some people say it feels like corduroy, which is the least sexy thing that I can imagine. Yeah.
Urban Outfitters. Love it. In there.
And for some women, not all, stimulation of this area, which I call the G area, and a lot of sexperts now say the G area because it's not just one spot, it's a general zone.
Yeah.
Some also call it the clitorourethral vaginal complex.
It's a bit long though,
That's
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Maybe not the kind of mouthful we want during sex. Some people find that stimulation of that area can feel really good and can potentially make them orgasm in a way that feels slightly different to stimulating the clitoris on the outside of the body. Now, the reason that we now believe that that part of the body can feel great to some people is, do you remember we spoke about how the clitoris is actually much bigger than it looks from the outside, and that glans, that little button, that tip that you can see externally actually extends a lot bigger internally. When you're rubbing the G area, you are potentially stimulating the internal clitoris from the back.
The bulbs.
Yeah, the bulbs and the crura and the back of the body of the clitoris.
Yeah.
For some women, that feels amazing. But not all women are built the same. Some people's clitorises are angled differently.
Right, so my point is, it's not about length, because people say, oh, well, I've got good girth, so that means I can hit your G-spot better. That's maybe not a thing.
It's a lie.
No. I mean, there are certain positions that will put more pressure and friction on that G area, arguably, which some people find pleasurable. But there's a lot of talk about, oh, if you hit the G-spot, you're absolutely going to guarantee that she's going to have an oh so big that a world will fall in, right? I hate anybody... No, I don't hate anybody.
Period.
I hate the idea of anything being guaranteed in sex, because it's just not. Sex is not one size fits all. There is not one thing that works for everybody. It's about exploration, experimentation, and learning about yourself. Yourself can also change through your life.
Yeah.
Something that absolutely made you feel whoop-de-doo one day can make you feel boo-hoo the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe because your body has changed due to aging or
Mood.
hormones or or you're on different pills. If you get depressed, then that can affect how your body feels. If you take antidepressants, that can affect how your body feels.
Yeah.
There's so many ingredients in the mix that can mean that the way you do your cake is baked changes, you know?
Jeez,
So
G
constant
area.
Yeah, the
I will
G
be taking
area.
that
G
to my
area
grave.
is the way forward.
Yeah.
VIP.
I think my G-spot to my G-rave grave. All right.
It's worth it if you want to explore stimulating that area, then sure, go ahead. I will warn you that for some women it actively doesn't feel pleasant. for some people, it, as well as stimulating the back of the internal clitoris, it also stimulates the bladder. So it can just make you feel like you need to pee.
Right.
Yeah. Or it can feel quite sore. A lot of advice that you read will say to press quite hard. For some women, that's banging. For other people, it just feels like they're being banged and clanged, and they don't like that.
The clangers.
So there is actually another spot higher up in the body called the A spot.
What?
The anterior fornix erogenous
I've not heard
zone.
about that one.
No, it's a bit more of an obscure one. It's not.
She's
It's not
exclusive.
been all around town like Miss G.
Wow.
Mrs. A is far more discreet. She's also harder to reach. So your A spot is. Let me think about how to describe this. It's further up inside the vagina. Again, it's on the front wall, so towards your belly button, not towards your backbone. And the A spot is located sort of in a little crevice between where your cervix drops down into the vaginal canal and where the vagina ends. So it's a little cul-de-sac that you've got hidden just underneath your womb. And for some people, stimulating that feels mind-blowing. So they get really deep orgasms. For other people, it feels like they've gone caving in their own cavern and it's all too much.
Mountaineering.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jesus.
They don't like spelunking in their own spunk zones.
Damn.
Very hard to reach with fingers alone, sausage or otherwise. So,
Nice. So we've heard you've brought in some sex toys for me and Christy to
has.
explore via blindfold.
the idea is that I'm going to cover your eyes and give you something designed for use between your thighs. And using the power of touch and your imagination, you're going to try and tell me what you think it is and what it's used for. Now, the toys I've brought in span very much from the mild to the wild. Some of them are for beginners. Some of them are definitely for people whose first rodeo this ain't. So some are a little bit more extreme, okay?
Little amateurs in the corner.
How do you both feel about sex toys?
I find them hilarious. I love the descriptions online and stuff, especially on Twitter, the Twitter thread sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when the Americans go like proper in on it. Like that Rose
Rose
one,
toy
that
went
was a real
viral.
phenomenon.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one, I was just like, do you know what? The way they're describing it, I need to touch that and see that. What's going on there? But I'm quite intrigued.
The Rose has had a lot of people coming up roses and coming. It's a clitoral stimulator that uses air pulse technology to sort of like to kind of suck very, very fast. So rather than a more traditional vibration where a motor causes the toy to pat repeatedly against the clitoris, this one sucks. Some people, they find too much vibration, too much of that repeated patting, it kind of makes them feel a bit sore or a bit numb. So a sucking toy can be great if you're not really a vibe fan.
We don't need men. We
Basically.
don't need men.
No.
Well,
The way it's going. We do need them.
nobody needs men, you know, but
It's good to have them, but it's amazing we've got these toys to just like act as them.
100%.
I need
Although
them.
I'd also say that men, if they wish to, and I would absolutely recommend that they do, can learn to use these tools as their teammates to make themselves better lovers. There is this idea, particularly amongst guys, I think, where they see sex toys as their competition when actually they are complements. I always say, if somebody asked you to cut down a tree and you couldn't do it with your hands, would you find it emasculating to use an axe?
Of course
no,
not.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
So whether you're trying to cut down a tree to have wood for your fire, or whether you're trying to start a fire in your lady's pants, learning how to use the tools, how to wield them, and how to wield them well, and to listen to your partner telling you what they want from those sex toys as well, that is a much better approach and attitude to have than just going, I don't like toys because I think they're going to put you off my willy.
Well, you've had it here first. Like, they're your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Dildos are friends.
They are your teammates. They are absolutely not. They're not against you.
Right.
They're with you.
They're with you.
Love it. I'm excited.
With that, are you ready to have some
Let's
toys with you,
get ready
ladies?
to
Okay.
rumble.
Now, this one comes in a very pretty box.
Gorgeous.
Very picturesque.
I want to hear my Lauren's reaction.
Have
Oh my god.
box inside. Yeah.
Wow.
Is it like one of them like toys that it's like the small person, they get smaller. Do
Do you mean Russian dolls like?
Is that what it's called?
A muff matryoshka.
I thought what it's called. I never. Oh God.
The colour's giving vape.
Vape.
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Proud Mary.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Is that Lost Mary? Oh, I know nothing. I'm not down with the kids.
Proud
Sorry.
Mary.
Proud Mary.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the way this is
Proud
taking
Mary,
long, I'm
yeah.
getting scared. Like,
Okay,
how
yeah,
big
don't
is
worry,
this?
don't worry.
Okay, I'm going to turn this on for you.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it is one that vibrates.
Vibrate.
Oh.
Okay, I've got it on a fairly high setting.
Oh, well, why does it feel like that? Oh,
What does it feel like to you?
like a ball,
Uh-huh.
and then there's something.
You've been hanging out with some people with very interesting balls.
Yeah.
What is that? What is this bit?
Have a guess.
That is powerful though. Is this like a little mini willy?
I can see why you say
Is
that.
it a mini willy?
Do you want to unveil your eyes
Yeah.
and all will be revealed?
It looks like it feels like. Why does it look like the jellyfish from Shark Tale or something?
Oh.
It's by a company called Pink Punch, and it's supposed to look like a little mushroom. So it's capitalizing on the whole toadstool trend that's big at the moment. It's very whimsical. It's very cute.
It does that too.
Yeah.
What's it doing? Fucking hell.
It's got different pulse. It's got different pulse modes, so it vibrates in different patterns and at different tempos. It's designed primarily for use on your clitoris, on your
External.
Yes,
Right,
well done,
right.
Lauren.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of
Hey.
you. You just got a gold star from Mama. Yeah. But you could also use it, for example, on nipples. You
Oh.
could stroke it over your labia. This is quite a versatile toy, and because it's very small and sort of unobtrusive, it would be, kind of good for introducing to partner play if you were a bit of a toy newbie. I
She's
think.
quite subtle, I think.
Yeah.
It feels really good.
That's gorgeous. So this is a vibrator, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Right.
vibrator.
Your turn. Enjoy.
Okay.
Okay. Now this one, I'm just going to get it set up for you, which
Oh.
is going to take a little bit of preparation.
No problem.
So first of all, I'm going to activate function number 1.
Oh
Ooh
God.
la la.
It's a nice colour though. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring it to its maximum capacity there. Okay. And then I'm also going to activate the vibrations.
Oh my God. I'm going to
Okay.
feel that in my kidneys.
So I'm going to hand this to you now.
Okay. Oh. What? It's length. It's giving popsicle stick or baby's dummy.
Inappropriate but accurate.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So this has got a handle. So is this going up my bum?
It's designed primarily to go up your bum, although if you cleaned it thoroughly, you could put it up your muff as well. if you wish to.
Wow.
Okay, now this toy has a very special and quite innovative function. If you hold that top bit and squeeze it with your hand, how does it feel?
I'm squeezing like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
What does it feel like?
Bass. Like, if I was at Glastonbury and they've just turned it down. Oh my God.
Okay, using your other hand,
Yeah.
can you feel along the front of the toy where you should find a set of 3 buttons on the handle.
What? Here?
Other side. Can you feel those indented buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to put your finger on the one in the middle.
Oh God, it's hard. Christy, can you tell me the middle one? Is it this?
No, that one there. Go up. There you go.
So,
I mean, this is a great test for using toys
Yeah.
in the dark, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and I want you to quickly press that twice.
oh. Oh God. Hang on. Oh fucking hell. Oh my God. Tire.
Now-
pressure.
What did that just do?
Now
Wow.
press it again and hold it. Yep.
Oh. What the fuck? Is it going lengthways?
What do you think is happening?
It's elongating in my anus. Is that it? What?
What you're trying to
Let me,
debate.
can I see it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay.
That won't go inside.
So this is a toy that you This is a toy that allows you to inflate it while you masturbate
Wow.
it. Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then quickly deflate it by pressing that button twice. It's from a company called Satisfyer,
Amazing, right?
who are really, really great, not only at making imaginative toys of their own, but also if you, between you, me and the gatepost, if you've spied a really awesome toy, but this is super, super expensive and you want to try it, Satisfyer have usually made a more financially viable version of that toy.
Dupe.
Still to,
Right.
commonly known as a dupe. Yeah.
Wow.
This one is a dupe, just a duper, super duper duper for your pooper.
Love.
It's called the Booty Connect.
Wow.
It inflates because it's designed to very gradually expand inside your butthole.
Right.
If you wanted to maybe train yourself for more enjoyable anal sex, if that was something you wanted to do.
Okay.
You could also just use it vaginally, and if you're someone that enjoys having something increasingly girthy there. If you want to use it in both spots, of course you're going to have to scrub-a-dub-dub that and make sure that it's thoroughly cleaned, because the germs in your back area don't get on well with the germs with the flora and fauna in the front.
Yeah.
So, but it's a very versatile toy.
Amazing. Love that.
The Connect bit comes because it works with an app. So you can remote control it. It can buzz in time to your music on Spotify.
What?
No.
So you could have a lovely time with
When the
Naz.
beat drops. That's amazing. To Naz.
That is crazy.
Naz and your arse.
Naz and your arse.
Wow.
TLC in your tush.
Oh
There
my
you-
God.
Oh God, let's get ready to rumble.
Here we go, Christy. Why are you all giggling and stuff? Oh,
What?
you all right?
See if I can get you a little bit of sound for this one. Hang on.
Who is she?
No, Lauren, what's going on?
ASMR.
Okay. Christy, this one is something of a fantastical toy, I would say. All right. Coming
Sling it over.
Sling over.
Coming direct from me to the poor unfortunate soul that is you. Ready? Up.
Nice.
Okay. Got a good grip?
And the rest of it?
Haul it in.
What in the elephant trunk is this? What? It's what is this? Is the elephant's trunk? It actually is the elephant's trunk, isn't it?
You're not far off. It's a good guess.
Indiana Jones.
Where is that going?
Indiana Bones.
Why is that? This part is just.
It's like you with your little clarinet. What you were
I
saying
was
about
gonna
earlier.
say, you do look like you're playing the clarinet.
No, guys. Okay, what is this?
What do you think it is? What's your final guess?
I'm trying to think. Where would it go? It goes. Sure, it's not going. Does it go into your vagina?
It can do. If you want it to.
Does it go into the in the back?
Yes, it can go in the back. Yeah.
But ain't this a bit too flimsy for the back?
You can feed it in. Yeah.
So you're gonna be like,
Snake it round. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not in one go, usually.
Yay.
Requires some build up and a lot of lube.
oh my God, guys.
That's lovely. That Lego.
This bit is just. This is amazing here, but everything here, this is just a mad thing.
Throwing you. Yeah.
And why is it so long? Can I take my blindfold?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Reveal all.
Single lady, reveal yourself.
Oh.
What in the octopus is going on? Oh no.
It's quite Ursula-esque, isn't it?
Yeah.
This
Oh.
is an octopus tentacle dildo from Cinnovator, who specialise in making fantasy dildos. So they don't look anything like usually real penises.
It's given Avatar.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's intimidating to me, that is.
It's definitely a specialist toy. I don't think it's designed to appeal to the mass market.
Right.
For a start, you'll notice that it is on the larger side.
Yeah, a bit too large.
This is for this. I love that you're just trying to wrangle that. This toy is designed for people who want to have literally an out of this world experience and who like to challenge themselves to fill themselves up with as much toy as they can handle.
Wouldn't this make you sick?
If you have to work up to it slowly in order for it to be safe. it's made in terms of making you sick through the material. It's body safe silicone, so it's totally fine. But I wouldn't advise going from 0 to 100 and trying to insert the entirety of the tentacle up your jacksie. Yeah.
Wow. That is, whoa.
Yeah, goodbye.
It's a wonderful wide world, isn't it?
It's amazing what's out there, really, truly.
I'm getting the I'm getting the vibe from you, Christy, that's probably not one that you'd want to take home. And
hell no.
These fantasy toys do get really interesting, by the way, even more so than that. There are ones that have little pumps where you can make them ejaculate fake spunk.
Ooh.
Wow.
There's one called the ovipositor, where it comes with a mold and you can craft your own gelatinous jelly eggs, and then it essentially lays eggs inside of you for people with alien fetishes and fantasies.
What the fuck? Whoa.
Lauren, are you excited?
I am.
A lot of the toys we've looked at so far are about fantasy and escapism, and I think it's very brave, both for the companies who make those and the people who consume them, to go, you know what, this is my sex life. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not hurting anybody else. So I'm going to go out there and have fun with it. And also, I can totally understand as well that if you've had a hard day at the office, putting one of those in your orifice will definitely make you forget about your spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
Now, this toy is less remarkable maybe in what it is, but unusual in who it's made by and what it represents societally. Right. Now, these come as a pair, so I'm going to pass the twins over to you now, Lauren.
Oh. Hello? Oh my God. Are they wet?
Not yet, no.
Are you like doing ASMR noise with your mouth? Whoever that is.
Do you know there's recently been a lube launched that is designed specifically to appeal to people who are into ASMR?
Really?
So it makes the maximum amount of like slurpy sounds when you use it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How does it feel?
Like those little trendy candlesticks that all the kids have got on TikTok. I'm guessing these are butt plugs, types of plugs.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay.
10 points to Team Lauren.
I win. You gorgeous.
Very.
Really aesthetic as well.
Very.
I love that kind of like beetle flip paint effect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you guess which very, very well-known household name makes those little butt buddies?
Dettol?
You're not far off.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That was
Continue along the lines of D.
D. Drex.
Durex. You're
Nice.
Nice. Drex. My favourite rapper.
Of course, it wasn't going to be a fucking household cleaning. It was going to be
Well, you can actually buy those in Sainsbury's.
Really?
So if you wanted to buy them along with your Dettol or your toilet duck or whatever, you pop them in your basket with your potatoes.
Yeah.
This is Durex's first ever anal toy. It's part of a new range that also includes a stroker toy for people with penises. The reason I think that this is really important is when you think Durex, you think reliability, you think safety, you think all the things that your parents want for you, right? When it comes to sex, you know. If a very reliable brand like that are producing toys for men to masturbate with, or for people to explore anal play, then I think that says a lot about how we as a society are becoming more accepting and more open-minded to the fact that masturbating with toys isn't just about clitoral and vaginal stimulation for women.
Absolutely. More inclusive. I'm all
Exactly.
for that.
Exactly that. I am a big advocate as well for anal experimentation solo. I think before you do anything with your butt and a bud, it's a really good idea to kind of
suss it out
yourself. To suss it out yourself.
Yeah.
So that you know how it feels to you, you know what your boundaries maybe are. If you're worried about things like mess, and as a good friend of mine says, who's a sex educator, if you do go down the rabbit hole, be prepared to meet Alice. Sometimes poop happens, shit happens in this world. learning how to avoid that and like keep anal sex as clean as it can be is something that you can kind of practice on your own with anal play.
Amazing. One for you, one for me. Love it.
Lauren, are you ready?
Yes.
For tantalising toy number 2.
Go, Lauren.
Go me.
Lauren.
Go
Go,
me.
Lauren.
So funny. What? Are we wearing it?
Lauren,
What's the matty?
the way this thing looks,
I'll get it out.
I'm even scared. It has a case. This is giving, can I describe what type of case? If you
Yes.
had like an instrument, let's say a violin case.
Oh la la.
It's
You had
giving
a
violin.
tutti flute.
Yeah, like I used to play the clarinet. That's giving clarinet flip. English clarinet box.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to unzip the box.
Oh, she
And
sounds
I'm gonna
large.
hold on this to you. Now, this is a mains powered toy, so it has a long cord.
For
And you're also... You're going to want to tense your muscles a bit, Lauren, because this one's got some heft. It's quite heavy.
I've got
It's
no
quite
strength
heavy.
in my arms. I hope it'll be all right.
You ready, Lauren?
Yeah. Oh. What the No, that's not going inside anyone. I've seen these before. This is huge. This is almost too big. This is for big 5'11" girls like me, or okay. Is
Absolute
it in?
myth, by the way, that the bigger the person, the bigger the toy they can take.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Do I put it on or anything, or is it just a?
Do we have the ability to plug it in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Christy,
giving.
would you like to
Wait.
plug that in down there for me?
Do the honours, please.
Okay.
Let me just set the mood for you, baby.
It's giving. Is this thing on?
Wait, hold on. It's coming out. Cool.
It's like part mic, part magic mic.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't drop the mic though, because honestly, you'll break a floorboard.
Fuck,
That
really?
thing is heavy, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, you're now plugged in.
Oh god.
I'm online.
Can you
I'm
can you
live.
find the buttons?
Oh. Oh my god. Wow. I'm getting really hot. So yeah. Oh my god, this would not be discreet. It's coming in for packaging, would it? If you were ordering it online. Oh my god.
Of the many features that toy has to offer, discretion is not one of them. No.
Yeah. Oh my god, no, I'm not hiding that in any of my drawers. Wow. Okay.
What do you is it you mentioned that you thought you knew what this was.
Well,
and it is a little bit of a famous toy, this one.
This is external, right?
Oh, you bloody well hope so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, may I take the...
Go for it.
Oh god. Oh my god, it's really giving. Whoa.
Karaoke.
It's more... I love the glitter. That's a bit isn't it?
Do
Love
you want to press the button on the top and turn it off? Because it's quite loud as well.
It is.
Yeah.
It's giving... Wow.
Okay. What you are holding is a variant of the famous magic wand vibrator, which
Right.
was originally developed by Hitachi in Japan, and was marketed as a massager, a body massager to
This
get
is
round obscenity
large.
laws. Yeah. Now that one is made by a UK company called Doxy.
Right.
It's one of their older models. It's mains powered to give it that real oomph and heft. It's got a lot of power,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That thing's got an engine that can rev. They now do smaller versions, lighter versions, rechargeable versions, so you don't have to have the cord trailing off them. The reason partly that it's so heavy is it's really well made. And
Right.
it's got a lot of motor in there.
Yeah.
But Doxy originally, some of the people who work there have a background in industrial scaffolding. So they really know what they're doing with
Wow.
metal. Yeah. Now, the reason that is such a well-known toy is because it can deliver extremely strong and deep vibrations. Now, you
Wow.
often hear vibrators described as either rumbly or buzzy. Buzzy tend to be the smaller ones, where they're great for clitoral stimulation, but the vibes don't travel too far through your body, so they don't stimulate a lot of nerve endings. A rumbly vibrator ooh, that's a big daddy.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. It throbs. It's got that deep bass to it.
Oh my God.
And those vibes travel further through the body. They awaken more nerve endings. They've got power to them. As a result, if you're somebody who maybe struggles to orgasm, this toy, although, you know, it's not tiny, teeny and slight, is it?
Yeah.
It's a good thing to try if you want a pretty good bet at having an orgasm.
Wow.
You can use it through clothes.
Through clothes.
Yeah, that could probably make you come through your jeans. Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like it could be euphoric, really, if it's a whole body sensation.
It isn't discreet, but I think that maybe we place too much emphasis on the idea that toys always have to be like
hidden,
very
taboo,
elegant and
hide
tiny.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I can understand why for lots of people that is something they're looking for.
Yeah.
If they're traveling with a toy or they're new to it and they don't want something that looks scary.
This is going to come up in your hand luggage.
Can you
for
imagine?
security.
Yeah. And I'm like, excuse me, darling, can you just come to the side? And they take, no, bye.
That's a hair tool. That's just a hair tool.
I am crumbling. Swallow me now.
Yeah.
Swallow me now.
But I do think that if it's a choice between your pleasure and giving the right impression to other people, I will prioritise my own pleasure every time.
Sure.
So, yeah. Lots of people who are queer or lesbians are really big fan of these toys.
Nice.
And I think the queer community are often better at being proud of their power tools. They don't feel the need
We should
to
be more
hide
proud,
them away.
Christy. 2024 resolution.
Not something as big as that, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
love
it's
it.
also great as a self-defense tool. If anybody ever tries to break into my flat,
you
then
imagine?
I'm whacking them with that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bats are out. What's this again?
Yeah.
It's like
Love it.
playing whack-a-mole.
Oh my God,
Literally.
yes.
So this is the part of the show where we play Don't Spill the Tea, and today, Alex, you're going to join us and hopefully want to spill some great tea. Are you ready?
Usually I would be so keen to get wet, but in this context, I want to stay drier than a non-spoof in the desert.
We'll see. Let's go.
I was having sex with my boyfriend. He flipped me over so we could do it doggy style. All going well. Suddenly, I feel a lukewarm liquid splashing on my back. After a few seconds of splashing, I stop and I'm like, what the fuck is going on back there? I turn around to find my boyfriend sipping a mug of tea. He was trying to drink it while we were fucking. It was going cold, he said.
Oh my God. That's gorgeously British.
Wow.
How are you? Yeah. No. Come
my
on.
God.
Was it
Mad.
Red Bush?
What the hell? And then that's literally what's happening. That is what's happening, basically.
It's quite valid though. You know the panic when you seal a tea. Oh, he had one chance.
There's
to
a
go for
time
it.
and a place,
Oh yeah,
Lauren.
yeah. Sorry.
That's
I'm
crazy.
very devoted to my cuppa, but
Yeah.
even me, I'm not like having a sip mid-shag.
No.
Although, normalise taking snack breaks.
Water break.
And like,
Oh.
and water break, yeah.
Not in the axe.
Yeah.
Banana.
Oh, hell no.
Maybe he was having a whole picnic, you know, cup
Oh.
of tea, sausage
On her
fingers.
back. Oh no. That's funny.
Should we see if Alex has any wild stories to make you guys laugh?
Yeah.
Let's load up.
Now, after 20 years of hearing people's real life tales of sexual fails, I do have some favourites which I think are particularly ludicrous. So would you mind if I...
Please.
If
Live, don't spill the tea with a live. Love it. Okay.
Okay, people who have encountered me before will probably have heard some of these stories because they are big faves. Okay, the first one involves a young lady who didn't have access to a dildo, so decided that she wanted to have a little fertile and play around with herself. She was going to find just something in her house that replicated a phallus. That was what she wanted. So she decided to go inside of her freezer and find a frozen Cumberland sausage and insert that into her vag. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever seen what happens if you lick a frozen lamppost and your tongue gets stuck, but this very same thing happens with a frozen sausage and the mucosal membranes of your vaginal canal. The sausage adhered to her foof. It was stuck inside. So, being the sensible young lady that she was, she called the first medical professional she could think of, Her father, her dad was a GP and had to fish the sausage out of her by running a warm shower and across her bits. But it wasn't as bad as the week before when he pulled out the lid of a deodorant can from her. You're still managing to be quite dry here, though.
She's a serial. Sorry, I was just in shock there.
A serial stuck-up bitch.
Yeah.
She's a bitch who likes things stuck up her.
What?
Just use a hairdryer to kind of like melt the sausage, but we'll cook it. No, never mind.
God, I would really go for someone on the NHS rather than my dad and my father.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I'm glad that she was able to be that open. I've got another one. You're very resilient. Okay. My next story involves a man who was given a cheese board, one of those really hefty oak cheese boards, as a gift, and it had a hole in it so that you could carry it or put like a little dippy bowl in. Looks like an artist's palette kind of thing. But because he's a bloke and because there's a hole there and because he's got a cock, he decides he's going to thread his cock through the cheese board. For some weird reason he got hard. Maybe he really likes fromage. and the cheese board got stuck on his dick. The more he tried to pull his cock out of the cheese board, the more firmly it got stuck.
Enough.
He made the terrible decision of deciding to just go to bed and go to sleep with the whole... And this is like, he can't let go of it. It's freaking huge.
Oh my God.
He was very, very lucky in that the next day his erection had subsided and he could untangle his todger from the cheese board. But it could have gone another way. If the blood had been trapped in his penis for too long, and it can cause something called... priapism, which is very damaging. But the worst bit is, after having that near-dick death experience,
He did the shopping board.
he didn't want to use the chopping board, so he gave it to Oxfam.
No.
And somebody else got the charity cheese board.
Oh my God.
Had his wanger threaded through it for 24 hours.
That is shocking.
And now I'm lactose intolerant.
That'll do it. Oh my God. Excuse us. Sorry, I've got your board all.
That is absolutely fine.
Oh, not my glasses.
How did you find that story out? Did someone just...
I used to work for Radio 1 doing a show called Unexpected Fluids, where we got people to send in their like real life tales of sexual fails, and some of them were wild. We had one woman who, in the middle of a threesome, on one of those pull-out sofa beds, the sofa collapsed and she got stuck in it head first with her legs in the air.
Wow, what a great conversation that we just had. Honestly, Alex, you've been amazing. I feel like my mind is more like curious, and that's good. I think it's good to be curious. It's good to like go away, have a think by yourself. Us two to have a more of a chat.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like to the ladies, listen, girls, we need to start talking about this. Do you know about this? Do you know about that? I know X, Y, Z, and kind of just spread the knowledge.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate you coming on and just sharing all the great stuff that you know with us.
Thank you.
Curiosity is the best outlook you can have when it comes to your own sex life and self-pleasure. Yeah, be the Riddler when it comes to being the fiddler. Ask questions. Interrogate things as well. Like, if you are not enjoying something, ask why. You know, delve a little bit deeper. Journaling can be really useful with that.
Nice.
If you are enjoying something, it's worth examining. Okay, if I like A, maybe I'll like B.
Right.
One thing that we haven't really spoken about, but which I want to emphasize, is sex toys are great, but women are often told, buy this and your life will be better. It's a commercial thing. It's a capitalist thing. You can still have fun with your fingers. You know, you don't always need to spend a fortune to feel $1 million.
Okay. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'm obsessed with this conversation.
I know,
I'm obsessed.
honestly.
I'm going to pleasure myself later. Anyway, see you guys next week. What? If you're new here, be sure to give us a like, follow, rating, hit that notification bell, and if you have any funny stories or dilemmas, we want to hear them. Send them to us at tea4@junglecreations.com.